Mary Jane Veloso was a victim of drug and human trafficking. To prevent more attempts to victimize outgoing overseas Filipino workers to be used as drug couriers and mules, the Philippine Overseas Employment Agency has been tasked to undertake a massive information campaign to help our OFWs escape from being victimized. And joining us tonight here on NewsLife is Attorney Cacdac, the administrator of POEA. Good evening to NewsLife.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Sir, of course, the Filipinos are very happy that among all the ones who were planned to be executed, Mary Jane was part of the reprieve. What was the role of the POEA in assisting her in this case?
Well, for this particular case, we were part of the case build-up effort. More specifically, we had coordinated with the DOJ and law enforcement in terms of establishing that the alleged recruiter and her cohort are not licensed to recruit. So provided that information, and in addition, we also provide the, as you said, the overall preventive education effort, which means we warn our people about the perils of illegal recruitment and point them in the direction of legal recruitment, and also stress the realities, the good and the challenges of overseas employment, so that they could arrive at an informed judgment.
Sir, what measures are in place as part of the and dissemination campaign to our OFWs? Do they undergo some sort of orientation or debriefing while they're applying their permits to go abroad?
Well, we undertake a general public information drive, which we call the Pre-Employment Orientation Seminar, or the PEOS, which is different from PIDOS, because PIDOS is done for those who had already obtained work. So what we do is go to the local communities. We partner with local community leaders, such as local government officials, the academe, faith-based groups, and NGOs, civil society groups in the process.
Sir, do you also partner with recruitment agencies in informing their employees better in terms of, people intercepting them along the way, especially when they already have their permits to go abroad?
That's right. Under the POEA, we have a full disclosure policy, which means licensed recruiters licensed by the POEA should fully disclose the terms and conditions of employment and realities of overseas employment. In addition, recruiters are to let their recruits go through the PIDOS, through OWA certified institutions, because it is the OWA that is in charge of the PIDOS.
Sir, does the POEA have a way of determining whether a recruitment agency is just a front for human trafficking or other illegal activities?
Well, it's fairly simple. When a recruiter does not have a license to recruit, that would be illegal recruitment. When a licensed recruiter commits any of the infractions under the POA rules, such as overcharging of fees, such as substitution of contracts to the detriment of the worker, such as misrepresentation or concealment of an important or material fact in the process of recruitment, then these are offenses under the law which amount to illegal recruitment. And so one must be fully aware of the badges of illegal recruitment or recruitment violations, such as if there is no license, or if the employer being put forward by the recruiter is not registered under the roster of the POEA. And I think the most basic tip that I could give is that one must make sure that there is a contract, employment contract signed, and there is a work visa, and there is an overseas employment certificate, or OEC, issued by the POEA prior to departure from the Philippines.
Sir, how big of a problem do you think human trafficking is and illegal drugs in terms of traveling abroad?
Well, it is a threat not just here but globally. So we must not let our guard down. We must not be so naive as to say that we are insulated or free from illegal recruitment or human trafficking. We must always presume that somebody out there is meant to or bent to dupe or fool our citizens who aspire to work abroad.
Sir, in a nutshell, how do they operate? How does the whole process go about? How do you spot an illegal?
Yes, I think illegal recruiters have a knack for foolery, for casting lies. They deceive their victims with misleading facts and bait, such as a plane ticket or a tourist visa, or in some cases even pocket money. That is why we always say that we must always distinguish between the fact of travel and the fact of work. Getting a plane ticket, a passport, getting pocket money even is the easy part. But our citizenry must be aware that to be protected, one must go through the legal process, which means obtaining work through a qualification or recruitment process. And as I said, getting a contract, obtaining a work visa, and an overseas employment certificate from the POEA. So that is 99% of the process. That is the work part.
Sir, is there a way to verify the authenticity of the documents? For example, if there might be some groups out there who covered all their bases and they provide an employee with all those documents, but is there a way for the employee to go to the POEA and verify the authenticity?
Again, it's fairly simple. If one goes through a licensed recruitment agency with a registered employer in the registry of the POEA, then we will have a greater chance or know for sure that the documentation is legal. Why? Because the documents to be offered to the worker have been already presented to the government. And so there is a status of legitimacy of the documentation when the documentation and the job offer comes from a licensed agency and a registered foreign employer. So it really boils down in the beginning to transacting with a licensed recruiter and a registered foreign employer.
And finally, sir, tomorrow is Labor Day, and a lot of the Filipinos out there are really looking for jobs that will elevate their status in life. What is your advice to these Filipinos who are looking for their jobs, and what is your word of caution to them for illegal recruiters out there?
Yes, our mantra in Tagalog is maging matalino, wag magpaloko, which essentially means one must make sure that one deals with a licensed recruiter, a registered employer, and that the process of recruitment or obtaining work basically means having a contract, having a work visa, and having a POEA exit clearance prior to the Philippines.
All right, on that note, thank you very much, Attorney Hans Cacdac, Administrator of the POEA.